Hi there, this is my bathroom from Allen Kitchen and Bath. Remodeled this. We're still working on it. It's been close to a year and there are so many issues, and Allen is refusing to resolve many of them. They did call in for, they asked me to do a final walkthrough and called for a final inspection claiming that everything was done, and now I'm not able to get them to do things properly. We went almost, well, I think it's about 10 months without a toilet, and this is the only bathroom in the house. So they finally got that a few weeks ago, and then we just recently, after they finally left, tried to use the bathtub, which I'll show you in a minute, and it backed up into the shower. We ran water in the bathtub, and the water came up with all kinds of ick in the shower, and we couldn't get Ellen to come back. We waited over a week for Ellen to come back and investigate, and finally had to call another plumber to find out what was going on. Turns out that because we hadn't used the plumbing for all that time, the pipes had rusted, so that required us to replace the stacked pipe at our cost. The shower itself there's towels there because it leaks like crazy, and I have been going back and forth with Alan trying to get them to fix it. At first they told me just to use one side of the shower or to use my body to block the leak because it leaks right through that glass door, and I'll show you where. They actually did not design this wall of it to the way they told me that they were going to design it, and that's causing a lot of the problems, and they absolutely refuse to fix it. So if you look at this, first of all, the plumbing is, you can't tell from here, but they didn't center the plumbing. And then here's this glass against the wall, and in here, in each of these, they have these gaps. And those two sprayers on the outside, they shoot straight out into the gaps. They wouldn't be hitting the gaps if the wall had been designed properly. Also, water flows like a river down here. It's just right out the bottom, and I'm going to show you that. And thank God I figured that out, because otherwise I would have flooded my bathroom, and it would have been pretty bad because, well, I'll show you the rest in a minute. Let's do the shower first. So I've got everything turned away from the doors, which you can see here. So that's how I was told to use my shower. And there's my shower, and if I sit there all the time or shower right in front of that seat, it looks like we're doing pretty good. If I face it forward, it will leak. But worse yet are these two side sprayers that shoot straight out, and you can't change the pressure. It's just one or the other, which I didn't realize they were going to do. And this is just flowing right out like a river. I need to turn this off soon, or I'm going to ruin my baseboard. So it comes out the sides and it just flows straight down. Oh my goodness, I gotta get this. So this is just soaked. Now if that's not alarming enough, what's even worse, and it's just, oh my gosh, I can't believe how unethical these people are. So I was sitting on my toilet, and I'll sit here and hopefully you can see this. It's really hard to show you. I'm going to turn more lights on. But underneath this clawfoot tub, there is a giant hole in the tile, in the floor, and through the subfloor. So water, if it had continued to leak, if I had not noticed, would have went right through there. And I didn't even know there was a hole till I was sitting on my toilet, and it's behind that back foot. So if the lighting were better, if it were sunnier out, you would be able to see it, but they never mentioned it to me. They will not talk about repairing it. Apparently it's normal to have a hole go through so that if you were sweeping your floor or mopping or whatever, things will just fall right through there or flood to the first level, because this bathroom's on the second level. So let me see if I can change some lighting and show you that. It's about a foot by a foot. So, oops, here's my nice hole. Maybe it's not a foot by a foot, it's a hand's width. Goes right through the floor. They just left it and didn't even bother to tell me. And I'm afraid to use my bathtub anyways because I also noticed that the front feet are spaced differently than the back feet. So here you can see that the spacing isn't even the same. It's really shoddy. It's shoddy. That's the nicest thing I can say about it. It was done so shoddily, and they charged me so much money, and they are refusing to put things right. They're saying that it's really okay for things to be this way. I'm going to get up in a minute, but I also want to show you, just so you make sure you check your contract completely. They had to widen the door, but here's the way they left my threshold. I didn't know that I should have put that in the contract because as a consumer, you don't know, but those paint spatters are from them, and they just left it like that. There's also gaps in the trim that shouldn't be there. I won't bore you with that. Here's the tile, which after much discussion, they finally said they would come back and fix. So they told me that it was okay for the tile in front of my vanity to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, and then just end in a weird spot. And finally, they said they would come back and fix that after really giving me a lot of grief about it. And now the vanity drawer, if I pull this drawer, it actually hits the frame of my window. And speaking of my window, here's part of the woodwork that they charge me all kinds of extra money to preserve my woodwork and take out the drywall around it and put the woodwork back properly. And it's just nice big, it's just kind of hanging there. So this was put in by my father-in-law, who's now deceased. We really wanted to preserve it, and it's just done shoddy. So anyways, Allen Kitchen and Bath, I have been redoing this a lot in this house and worked with a lot of contractors, and they by far have been the worst. They are terrible to work with. There are so many hidden charges. They are not forthright. I've asked them over and over for a copy of the original contract, and they have not, and I don't know if they will give it to me. And they are still asking for their money. So they want to be paid with the bathroom and all these problems. They think that they should be paid. And so it's just been a nightmare. Have a good day. I'm afraid to say too much because I'm afraid that I won't get to keep this video up if I say too much, and then you won't get to see it and you won't be warned. So, oh, here, this is real pretty. Look at that. This is my little vent that I can no longer get into to fix or anything because they sealed it up, and there's all kinds of dirt inside there. I don't know if you can see it on the floor even, that they just didn't bother with. And there's so many other things, but good luck with your remodel. Don't do what I did. I made a huge mistake. If you go ahead and look at some of the Yelp reviews, I wish I would have done that beforehand. You'll see lots of people had issues like I'm talking about.